We are going to continue on with today's media availability. We are now joined by Bubba Wallace, driver of the number 43 Victory Junction Chevrolet for Richard Petty Motorsports. We're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We're going to start up front here with Holly Kane, and we'll work our way around.
Holly Kane, the NASCAR Wire Service.
Hello.
Hello. My question for you is, what's the last week been like for you with, I'm sure, many congratulatory calls, tweets, etc. And the second part of that is, what does having a run like that mean for your team going forward and your expectations?
Yeah, it's actually been a pretty smooth week, surprisingly. Thank you, Courtney. I'm sure that'll all change here soon. But no, it was a solid week, solid Sunday for us. Just being able to build off that, and I think the biggest thing, as I keep saying, is we're such a small team, and that was our brand new car that we had run at Michigan 2, and so that car won't be in rotation again until Kansas, I believe. So for us, this is a car. This weekend, this car is what we ran last time here. But obviously, since then, we've made a lot of improvements to our cars, to our team, to better our program. So I don't really know. I'd like to say we can go out and run top 5 again. I'm not really sure until we hit the first couple laps on track and get to see, where our speed is. But I think for our team, that just shows that's like a spotlight or a highlight of what we can do, when we start getting, the funding is in place, but start getting resources out of that, start getting cars and more people and just man hours on the car. We can do those types of things. So it's awesome to see. And despite our weekend last weekend, we were 11th, 12th place car. And I said that even after practice. And that's double the spots that we have usually have been. So to come home third, a lot of people crashed out, but the ones that didn't crash out, we still beat a couple of those guys. So it's sorry, I'm getting stuck on the tape up here. All right, I just won't mess with it anymore. So we just have to keep pushing the envelope, keep doing what we can do, what's in our control, push the envelope as much as we can, get the most speed out of our cars that we can.
Additional questions for Bubba? We'll go to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Following up on that, Bubba, it seemed like June at Pocono was when you guys got the influx of cash and the sponsor support. Was this, and looking at your results, you've been top 20 or maybe top 25, and not a lot of top 15s, maybe 2 since then. Was this kind of a bolt from the blue, or was it a culmination of stuff happening behind the scenes that maybe we all missed? That
well, if you just look at strictly results or finishes, then it looks like it's just wow, they had a great day, they hit it. But ever since Charlotte, we've been running inside the top 20 during the race, and not just on a restart. 30, 40 laps into a run, we're running. It's like, where are we running at? Either from 18th to 21st. And that's good for us. We're not happy with that, but it's an improvement from how we started the season. It seems like 30 laps into a run, we were 27th. Atlanta, we were okay here. Auto Club, we were not very good at all, but there was multiple instances where Michigan 1 stands out, running 19th or so and hit the fence. Kentucky hit the fence with 60 laps to go, and we come in, and I'm praying for those last 60 laps, and we come in and just do fuel only, and it bites us with 7 to go. And so we were running, we were running inside the top 15 there. So the finishes just haven't been where we have been running throughout those races. The finishes haven't shown that last star that I keep talking about that hasn't been in a line. That's just little mistakes on my end, or running out of fuel, Michigan 2. So, it's just those little things that take us out. So we've had a little bit more speed since that time. And then we've had last week we had a little bit more speed than that speed that we've previously had. So it's just brand new car, figuring out, being able to race it at Michigan and taking it back and debriefing it and figuring out what we can do, chop up some pieces, remount it, and do this and that to get a little bit more aerodynamic advantage for us. So it's just we have 5-7 guys on my team, and that's just all we got, and we got a couple guys back at the shop, but it's not many. So we're trying to do everything we can with a limited amount of people and resources, and to see them bring that much speed and just that much confidence and everything to the racetrack last weekend is definitely an eye-opener for all of us, I think, in the garage. And I'm excited to see where the direction goes.
Of you continuing on with that level of support next year? Have you gotten any signs of that?
Yeah. I think we're still working through that, and I'm really confident about our program being even better than where we're at today, getting more funding in. So it's been a blessing. It's been an uphill climb for sure, and it still is. Despite our third place finish, it's still been a gruesome battle on that side of things, and we were very fortunate at Pocono for Dave Stewart and Victory Junction and Dave Stewart's family and the foundation all to jump on board and to take that next big step with us. So I think we can continue to grow that. He wants to see myself and the King be successful and bring that 43 back to victory lane. So with runs like that obviously helps the effort. So at least we like to think so. But yeah, we'll just keep doing what we can, take the finishes that we can get, eliminate the mistakes, eliminate hitting the fence. In these cars, Xfinity cars, go out, hit the fence and continue racing. For us, it's a little bit more edgy. You get the fence just barely and it cuts a tire down and it takes you out. So it's just mistakes on my end, clean up mistakes on pit road, just have a flawless weekend. We have to be flawless. We can't have any mistakes. Any mistakes takes us from running 19th to 29th. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin and all those guys, they can speed on pit road 2-3 times out of the race, twice, and still come back and finish top 5. It's like we don't have that type of speed. We can't get up there like that. So we just have to do everything in our power that we can in the best way possible. And some of those days is going to be 25th. Take it and move on. As long as we can come back, look at the right side, it's clean. No mistakes on pit road, no loose wheels, no speeding on pit road, nothing like that. So it's just we have a lot more in control that can take us out of the ballgame.
Go next to Bob, and then back to Holly.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. What does a new car kind of feel like, or what can you tell is the difference when you were in the car that you were in last week versus maybe the car that you're in this week?
Feels fast. It's just the feeling of it. I lap 4 or 5. I was like, man, this car feels fast. My spotter was like, well, you're P11 right now. So I'm like, okay. Usually when that happens, we're like the 11th car that has gone out. That's it. And then by the time I get back in the garage, we're like 111th. It's like, damn it. But when I turned, the car turned. When I wanted to make a move inside of a car, it followed suit. It reacted the way I wanted to react. I was a little worried about how our car would be in traffic from that first practice. I was really worried. Just the way it kind of felt and the ride height and stuff was off. And so we went out behind the 3 front row cars in the second practice to start out, and we passed them and straightawayed them. And I was like, oh, all right, maybe I was wrong. So it just had the speed, it had the handling, it just had the whole package that weekend, and it was really cool to see. And I was pumped, from the time I got out of the car in practice, or the time I got in the car to the time I got out, just a ton of confidence. And that obviously carries over to a lot. You can charge into that corner and know you're going to make that pass instead of being like, I'm going to try it and see what happens. So just a lot of confidence with it.
Holly?
You probably get this question, but I'm curious, do you ever kind of, when you have the run that you did at Indianapolis, also think, man, my 2 best showings in a Cup car have been at the 2 most iconic venues that it could possibly be at? I mean, you pick some good ones to really.
Yeah, for sure. They pay well too, so that's nice. Picking all the right ones. I haven't looked at it from that standpoint. It's just ironic how it works out. It's I don't know. It's not like I'm thinking, ooh, this is a big stage. We need to go out and really perform. Every race is a big stage for me as far as taking my career to new heights and new levels. Indy is just the same as Martinsville for me, or I'm trying to think of a low-key event. But, every race is special. You never know when it's your last race. So you always got to treat it as a special one. So I've never looked at it from that standpoint, but hell, I ain't complaining. It's fine with me.
Go next to Mark and then to Kelly.
Mark Carroll, PRN. Bubba, when you have runs like that, do you have to fight the
Sorry, hold on. There's Alabama on this Coke. Why? What the hell, Coke? You expect me to drink this? I might as well. They pay the bill. Continue. I'm sorry.
No problem. What kind of expectations when you run that well, but you know you have a small team, you know all the gruesome things that you, as you just described, that you have to deal with monetarily and just trying to build up the team support and so on and so forth. How do you temper your expectations when you have a great run like that, but you also know the realities of what you're up against and the kind of funding these other teams have?
Yeah, no, it's like a prime example is Blaney. You know, we had talked about it after the race, and he said I chopped him, which cool. I didn't have a side mirror that was usable, so I couldn't really see where my line was and where he was at. But after thinking about it, hell, my man's gonna go run top 5 this weekend. We'll be lucky enough to be able to even see the top 5 this weekend. So those guys know when they climb in the car, they expect to run top 5. Hell, I expect to run 20th. So we'll see. I don't know where our speed's going to be at until we get done or climb in the car for first practice and see if the car is reacting and responding the same way. My expectations are very low. They have not increased because of that run at Indy. And it's just how it's been. So, you know, for us and not knocking our team at all of running 20th to 25th, but that's just what we have shown in the past. And so having a brand new car, like I said, we don't have a brand new car for this weekend. So it's kind of seeing how much we can massage this older car and see how much speed we can get out of it. So hopefully we can show up and run top 15. You know, I said that after the night before Indy. I was like, a top 15 would be great. Hell, I didn't expect to run that.
When you look ahead to next year, then what are your expectations given you got a new car and you see the speed your team can build? Are you raising your expectations for next year knowing that, hey, you're got some building blocks and you've got an off season to work with? I mean, how do you look at this as it pertains to next year, how it connects to next year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a competitor, you want to keep raising your expectations and being on that level of where it's like, every race I can go out here and win and have a good finish, run top 3. But I've had a lot of high expectations throughout my years of this crazy sport, and I've been let down a lot. So some of my darkest days have come from high expectations. So I just keep low expectations, don't expect much, and my expectations change in the moment. So for example, Indy, it's like, all right, I expect to run top 12 here. Oh, all right, now we're in the top 5 on this last restart. I expect to finish in the top 5. It's like that. But foreshadowing, like, I expect to go out and run top 5 at Vegas on Sunday. Nah, I'll be let down. I could be let down. I'll say that. I could be let down. And I don't want to go through that.
Go to Kelly, then to Nate, and then to Kathy.
KellyCronoRacer.com. Bubba, when you get up in the top 5 like last week and you start racing around a different competition, tougher competition, are you more aware of trying to almost rein yourself in to not maybe overdrive and do too much and put yourself in a bad situation?
Yeah, for sure, because our cars, you know, looking at I've yet to go back and look at what Harvick was able to do on those last 20 laps, but he just yarded the rest of us. Him and Joey were able to pull away, and I was a little slower than the 12 and 24 and holding that line up. We had a whole pack around there with us. But when I'm running that good, I know the car is on the absolute 110% edge. That 111% would have been getting really tight, closing your eyes because you think you're going to hit the fence, losing all that momentum. 5 cars go past you. So for me, it's like, dude, you have got to hit your marks every lap. You have to drive the piss out of it because you can't just, I'm going to back this corner up to get off of this corner. Hell no, because Blaney's going to try to drive in there. And so you got to find that mark. You have to find that edge fast. And for us, you know, when I'm making adjustments on the car, it's like we have the same tendencies. Like our tires get loaded up and pissed off and you start to get tight. But other teams can kind of drive through that. They know where the car is going to land and be positioned by the time they get off the corner. When we go in, it's like if I drive any harder, we're going to be pulling out the backup car. So you adjust to that. And so for me, it was, yeah, I'm up here with these guys, and they're expecting me to mess up. So I didn't mess up.
Nate?
After the race, you playfully called out your Twitter haters.
Oh, yeah.
When I looked at Twitter after the race, it seemed like there was a lot of positive
There
support
was.
for you.
There was.
Did that make you feel good?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot more positive than negative. So that's nice to see, but I pay attention more to the negative more than I do the positive. It's like, what are you talking about? There's this kid that I've actually shut him down one time, and I think he's a kid. He's a teenager. I don't know. He could be in college. I don't know. He's a kid. But people are sending him. He has me blocked on things. There's an Instagram account that sent me his post and talking about my interview and talking about how nobody expects you to run 25th and crash cars every week and you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, bro, are you living in my Twitter feed and seeing what I'm getting? Are you monitoring the tweets that I get? Because after every post, either it's NASCAR, Fox, NBC, talking about me, it's like he'll go back and run 25th next week. He'll crash next week. He'll do this next week. And it's like he's crashed every car this year. And I'm like, I have not, for one. I don't know what they consider a crash. It's like getting a donut on the side of your car from banging tires with somebody. It's considered a crash, or scraping the wall on the right side. Is that considered a crash? I need to talk to them and figure out what's considered a crash. I've crashed Talladega, Daytona, I think all the speedway races. Other than that, I don't think we've crashed. Roval's coming up. That'll be 3 or 4 cars crashed there. Watkins Glen, I got crashed. So I don't know. I shouldn't be wasting my time, but it's just like eats at me. So when I said that stuff, it's like, hell yeah, I get that all the time. I was supposed to crash. I was supposed to run 25th at Indy. I'm supposed to crash and run 25th at Vegas. I'm supposed to do those things each and every week according to Twitter. But when I don't, they have nothing to say.
Kathy Brown, pitting outside the box. Just to kind of go back a little bit, when you were talking about racing up front and with the drivers that you're around kind of looking at you, waiting for you to do something wrong, when that day presents itself that you're going to get your first win, a lot of the drivers this year have talked about the level of aggression. It's peaked, it's spiked, especially on restarts. What would you be willing to do as far as being aggressive to get that first win? What would you be willing to do, and what would be considered taboo to get your first win?
I think, obviously, I wouldn't just flat out dump somebody. I always joke, would you wreck your mother for a win? No. It depends on, what the situation is. If she is 2 car lengths in front of me and we're coming down into turn 3, coming to the checkered, I'm not going to drive in 4 car lengths to wreck her. It's going to be like, I'm going to try to do everything I can without touching you to get by you. So it's just tough. I mean, for an example, we laughed about it now. For example, Newman and I were racing at Darlington. He was the only car that he didn't wreck. I guess he wrecked the 32, the 8. He wrecked a lot of people, but not me. Anyways, we were racing hard, and he got by me, and then he left a lane on the top through 1 and 2, and I just got on his door, or kind of filled the void, and then down the backstretch he gives me the bird, which I'm like, hey man, that's my move. Don't take my move. I flip off people. But it pissed me off, and I'm like, dude, we're racing. Like, what are you mad about? And so walking through the garage last week in Indy, he said something. He was like, I was just kind of frustrated, but no harm, no foul. And I was like, oh yeah, it's just you old guys just hate being raced at any time on the racetrack. And so it's different. People hate being raced on restarts. They get pissed when you put them 3 or 4 wide, and they start to point the blame at you. But it's like, why are we in that position? You messed up. You forced me to make a move, and I'm not going to sit there and ride behind you and get passed and get put 3 or 4 wide. So I'm going to make the move and get by you. So it's different. I love how aggressive we race. That's what I was taught growing up. Be as aggressive as you can, as clean as you can. There's a fine line. I'm not out there pinballing off other cars and wrecking people, but if the opportunity presents itself to me to force the issue onto you, absolutely, it's going to happen. Like, I fell victim to it this race earlier this year. Me and Priest were racing hard, I think for the lucky dog or something. We come out on different little pit strategy, about 2 laps or so, and we are racing the absolute crap out of each other. And after the race, or in my Monday morning debrief, I texted him. I was like, hey, man, sorry, it was just hard racing. And he was like, dude, why are you apologizing for racing hard? And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. We were racing hard. We got out. We didn't shake each other's hands, but we weren't pissed off at each other. It was just one of those days. It's what we get to do. We get paid to race, not fall in line and not race the other guys as hard. I don't care if you were racing 20 years ago in this series and it wasn't like this. Well, it's a new day. Shit changes every day. Get accustomed to it. Sorry, that pisses me off because a lot of the older guys get pissed off when the young guys race them hard. So that's just it strikes a nerve. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Any additional questions for Bubba? Go to Chase.
Sorry.
Chase William, NASCAR.com. Bubba, speaking of being pissed sometimes, like it's probably a good release for you is banging on the drum sometimes. How's the new drum room coming?
It's coming along.
Yeah.
It's not 100% done yet. We're about 75% of the way. Was able to, first of all, make good relationships with some of the bands that I grew up listening to throughout the years and meeting some of the members. And I was able to fly out a drummer from Fit for a King, Jared Easterling. So flew him down for the day, and he got software set up using Pro Tools and set up all the mics and stuff. So I have no idea what I'm doing yet. So I'm going to be a lot of YouTube videos, but just being able to have a room dedicated to go out and, releasing some stress, as you say, will be nice. I got to soundproof it. I got 3 acres, but I'm still worried about my neighbors. So sorry, neighbors. But yeah, it should be a good time. Should hopefully 100% done. As far as getting everything set up, the decoration stuff, I'm going to hang up some guitars and I got an idea to get some of the records of vinyl records that got me into like the heavy metal scene. So I'm going to try to get those up on the wall. So that's going to be a little bit. But as far as all the logistics of getting the room set up, being able to play, hopefully done next week.
Well, Bubba, thanks for taking the time to join us. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.